Okay, good afternoon. I guess I'm going to try and build the iFlighT SL5 today, 2.1. That's the Sedora, probably most people know. I'm going to go through the components now, and then we'll just get on with the build. Might need to nip out at some points for soldering irons and bits and pieces, but I think we've got most of the stuff we need in front of us. So, move the keyboard back a little bit. Don't need that now. So, what bits have we bought? Well, obviously the Sedora frame. It's a really well-built frame, nicely rounded, chamfered edges, and the press studs, press nuts are already nicely inserted into the various cross plates, etc. So that's the frame. We've already built some TPU parts. These are strike protectors, prop strike protectors on the arms, and these are nice little cable tidies, you can see. I've used the Eco motors, so we've got the 2306 motors on there, and they are the 1900 kV. So it's designed for 6S, but to have a little bit more performance rather than sticking with the 1700s. I'm kind of had 1700s, I've had 1500s, and then the sort of 1900s is probably about the right place to be. So for a bit of performance, it's quite nice. If you get into a stage where you feel you're overdriving the motors or they're desyncing, then you can use v2.1 to turn down the voltage effectively on these to make them a 4S compatible and a 6S compatible by a percentage amount. So if you feel on 6S they are slightly over revving, you can put in 82% or something of the top end speed, and that'll bring it back down and make it perform like a 1700 kV motor. But more on that when we get to that stage. So the Emax motors, really nice, cheap option. We've got 4 of those, as you said, and as I go through, I'll kind of be working my way through those. So that's that. We went for the Mamba stack. The Mamba stack is really kind of very cool. You can see it's got the little Bluetooth antenna on so that you can use the SpeedyBee app. It's got a USB-C connector, really cool, and with all the bits in there that you need to make this, which is a really nice. It's the F722 app stack. If you want to know the designations, we will put some component lists in the description of this video at the end. So that's the Mamba stack, really nice. In terms of VTX, we've gone down the TBS route. I've gone for the TBS Unify Pro 5.68 HV Race 2 with the MMCX connector. We've also gone for one of these really nice Singularity 5.8 stubby True RC antennas. I really like these. Really quite small. Prefer them in black than red, but or fluorescent yellow, but it's the way it goes. I've gone for some Ethics props. These are the lemon and lime. I've just taken out the lemon from 2 other props, and I'm using the lime for this. These are the Ethics S4 lemon and lime props, so the lime version of that. And yeah, really nice prop. Not too aggressive. And then in terms of what do we got from the radio side of things, we went for a TBS Crossfire with the Immortal T. And again, you can see it's already set up and ready to go, which is rather nice. I have also cut some additional wire that's slightly thicker, but we'll see which fits slightly. I've gone with my standard color scheme of wires that I use, but you can see it's a really nice little receiver. Beautiful piece of kit. I then also have some screws from Accu. Accu, a great screw manufacturer in the UK. These are M3 times 14. How do I get to 14? Well, the time I put on the bottom plates with the 5mm arms, the TPU 2mm on each side, and then a 3mm on here, and then 2mm to go into the motor, it all adds up to 14. So you end up needing these 14mm screws. These come with Loctite on them, so just purely then just need a little bit of a tighten up. Yeah, and we're good to go. So the frame is here. We've talked about the motors, so they're all good, but I'll just quickly unpack all the motors and get rid of all of the gubbins that I don't need. And we'll get on with the build. Does look like I am going to have to go and get a soldering iron power supply. It'll take 2 minutes to do. Sorry for the delay. Okay, just give me 2 seconds. Packing the last motor, and I'll go get the soldering iron. And we'll get cracking. I really like these new style bags that TBS are doing. So it's really cool. So we're going to start with the motors and then go on from there, build up the 4 arms, and then put them to the base plate. The Sedora guys come with a nice little sheet clearly showing how you build this. So it's really straightforward, very nice, straightforward construction. So this time the actual plate sits inside the aircraft rather than sitting on the bottom plate. So this is a sort of mid-plate strengthening clamp for the arms, but we'll come to that as we get there. It's not on the bottom, it's in between the sandwich of the legs and the inner quad. All right. Oh, way too many. So I need 4 of these per arm. So 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. Lift the rest of them out of the way. Make sure I'm packing up the rest. Don't drop. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Not sure I can see it on the mic. We'll just 1, 2, 3, just testing. I don't know whether I can hear myself. Hopefully the audio is okay. Okay. Nearly packed away. So, there we go. So just checking that the audio is working on the live stream. Okay, so now I have enough screws. Take a motor, one of the arms. You see I've got these little cable tie these two, and the back plate. Generally what I do is I put the screw into the back plate, If they don't quite fit, it's because of the 3D printer. You can just use a little file and file out these little grinder blocks. I call them motor caps, but it does allow you to slide on the ground as well. So you can call them motor sliders if you wanted to, but if not, you can just refer to them as motor caps. I will need my other torque driver, so just give me a minute to go and get the torque driver. You doing all right, Tom? Yeah. Okay, that's my torque driver and soldering iron mains cable, which is great. So, as I said, you can decide to punch these holes a little bit wider if you need to. Sometimes just pushing the screw straight through them with the torque driver is enough. Trying to get somebody just to check the audio for me. Okay. So once we've gone around each one of those in turn, should be enough out of those to allow the screws through. See how we get on. As I said, these are M3 by 14 with Loctite, so you don't have to worry about putting the Loctite on. And there we go. If you're just out there bashing bandos or flying in areas where you're not really that worried about the state of your quad, i.e. you're going to crash it and you just want to repair it, then maybe you don't want to add all these extra little trinkets on. I do find that the TPU soft mounts help when your props get a little chipped. So if you're flying through trees and catching those props, then it does make it fly a little bit better, so it's always useful. And so I think putting them on makes the quad look a little bit better, in my opinion. I appreciate other opinions, and some of you may just be laughing at me now. Well, that's fine. It's not for everybody. I accept that, but I do like it. I do feel it makes it fly better, and it's not a bad thing to do. So as we get through these, it's just taking a little bit of time. And normally what I would do when I'm doing a video, this is live unfortunately, is to chop it out. You don't want to see this done 4 times. So normally I would prepare 3 arms, and maybe that's what I do. Maybe I stop the live stream and go back in and do another one in a minute. And that way then get to a stage where you're not sat there watching me do this 4 times. So on the other side of this, we make sure we put the other TPU mount and then the motor goes on. Show you that. I'll do one with you and then I'll stop the stream and go and do the other 2 that remain and come back once they're done for the frame build. Okay, we've got to the point where they're all the way through. And I've designed these with a slightly roundier bottom, the top slightly flatter, and that enables you to tell the top from the bottom when you put them back in. So yeah, just getting it lined up now. And once you've got the first screw in, it is relatively straightforward. One of the really gutting things that's happened this week is that we've lost access to our flying field. The neighbours don't like the noise of the quads, and yeah, so we're unlikely to get the site renewed for flying quads. So it will probably mean that we're going to have to go and look elsewhere to fly, which is, you know, really upsetting, but it's the way that it goes. Unfortunately, a lot of bigots and people with biased attitudes out there, and yeah, it's not the best of news we could have had this week. But, you know, that's where it is. The Skylarks Flying Club banning drones from club, you know, I thought it was an arcane process of, you know, being firmly consigned to history. It hasn't yet, and it kind of, when you lose your flying site, you do really, you know, lose the ability to fly. It's not the greatest thing that can happen to you. So yeah, it's one of those things. Right, so that's done. What I'll do is I will stop the stream now, go away and do all three, and then start the stream back up. So it'll be part 2 to follow very shortly.